Yes. Well, typically in Albany, we're in our own little bubble. We're the state capital. We've got all the government workers, all the state workers. That's all pretty stable. We've got some really large chip plants and that sort of thing that are constantly growing, so that they're always bringing in a lot of people and a lot of jobs. So typically when we're like years behind the West Coast. So when the rest, I didn't start until 2010. So I missed all the foreclosures and everything. I was just at the tail end of that. And I remember hearing in my training that the West Coast, everybody had all these foreclosures. It was horrible. We had some in the Capital District, but not nearly as much as the West Coast. We were again like protected. So the same thing kind of happened during COVID, where your guys' prices skyrocketed and ours did, but not at the amount you guys did. We probably went like, on average, we're like 1 to 2 increase year over year, where we were like maybe 3 to 5. But what I'm seeing now, interest rates went up. We kind of got quiet in winter, which we normally do. Things are, we're back to like normal COVID, if that's a thing. But I'm noticing now our prices are like 10% higher than where they were in the past year. Things that would normally sell at like first time home buyer 225, they're selling for like 300. And it's crazy. So I think I'm kind of seeing the price increases that you guys saw during COVID. We're kind of seeing it now. So when I talk to everybody and the masterminds from across the country, I'm like, where are you guys now? Because we're going to get it in like 18 months. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, everything slowed down. We've stopped. Prices have come down. Our prices have never come down. But I kind of prepared for that because I thought it was going to hit. But we just slowed a little. So I try and figure out what you guys on the West Coast are doing to see what's going to happen here.
Makes sense. Jeannie, how about you guys?
Well, what I was looking at was kind of you get a lot of media misinformation. So we do have an obligation to explain to our clients just exactly what does that mean. So when you see a headline that says the market is, bad or going down, think about where they're talking about. If you're talking about New York, if you're talking about Austin, Texas, if you're talking about LA.
Jeannie, quick, when they're talking about New York, they're typically talking about New York City.
Right, exactly. Well, that's like us. When you talk about San Francisco, that's 90 miles away. That it's a completely different world. Those are all tech-based areas of the country. Yeah, well, that business is, you read all day long about how they're laying off people like crazy. So you've got to educate your people to what's happening in our community. Just like you said, Carolyn, you're different than the rest. We've seen our prices go up and up and up. We always had a market that was 10 years level off, 10 years level off. Now I say, oh, it's like a roller coaster. I don't know when I wake up in the morning exactly what we're going to see. But you have that obligation to explain it. The interest rate has affected our buyers, especially at the lower end. But, I said to Jamie when this all started, this is when you learn to be a realtor. You have to learn about, buying down the interest rate and what other things can you do and how can you get the seller to cooperate with the buyer. So it's an educational process, and it's our obligation to educate people as to, let's talk about our community where we are. Let's not worry about the rest of the world. Let's not worry about what the feds are going to do, because they're going to do what they're going to do. Let's just take what we've got and work with it. I mean, my husband worked with 18% interest and they sold houses. Right. This is nothing. So that's kind of how we're looking at it.